Hey, welcome back, comic fans. It's Mr. Q Comics, back with some more show and tell. Today I have a pretty recent haul here, books I picked up in the past couple of weeks. I was on a road trip for work, was able to pick up some books on the road, came back home and picked up about 3/4 of a short box, the remnants of a collection locally, and I hit up a flea market that I haven't been to in about a year or so. So before we dive into the books, guys, if you're a fan of haul videos, please go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these books. So, okay, like I said, I had a road trip for work. I'm up in the Northeast here, so anytime I am on the road, I try and look for local antique shops where I can score some deals, flea markets, comic shops I haven't been to. So had the opportunity to do a little bit of hunting. Hit up a flea market that didn't have an antique shop didn't have a lot of success in, but then I found a small little bookshop on the road. Had mostly Magic the Gathering cards. I did pick up a couple of books, just highlight a couple here. I grabbed a copy of Wizard magazine number 94. This is just a super cool Adam Hughes cover. I think I have this one. I think this one's in a little bit better shape than the one I currently have. And one I had not seen before, also an Adam Hughes cover. This is Wizard number 129. So just really cool Adam Hughes artwork. I'm a huge fan of Adam Hughes covers. And these were something like, it worked out to like $4, something like that. They didn't have a ton of great stuff. It was mostly modern stuff, just kind of random collection someone had brought in the shop. So after that, I did find one local shop that I was able to hit up. I usually try and read like the Google reviews and see what people's experience is, make sure they have actual back issues. It's not a shop that's just doing kind of like gaming in modern pull lists. So this place definitely had back issues. Reviews were kind of mixed. People were kind of complaining about the clutter in the store and the way the shop owner prices. This is definitely a shop that I think it does current pull lists and stuff, but doesn't price any of his books ahead of time. All of his stuff is priced when you pull it, which I knew going in, so I can't complain about that. But I thought, you know what, maybe there's a shot if I get a bunch of stuff, I can get some great deals. So, went in the shop. It was definitely cluttered. I mean, he had this very small back room that was kind of like a walk-in closet, and it was jam-packed with dozens and dozens of short boxes and long boxes full of silver, Bronze Age, kind of organized, but really, really cluttered. I guess the guy doesn't like to price books out and leave them out because he's afraid of theft, but then, he lets you just kind of go park in his back room and dig. So I love digging, so I thought it would be a fantastic opportunity. So right away, I start pulling out some key books, and I give him to him the price because I figured, I'll just pull out stacks of like 10 or 20, let him do his thing. And he was up front how he prices. He goes on eBay, he looks at cover price on the resources and tries to go off the sold listings. And he said he tries to price them under recent sold. So, I'm digging. It's a lot of work. The place was so disorganized. So you're pulling out boxes and you're pulling out all the good books, and it brings me back the first stack. And right away I'm like, oh no, these prices aren't really that great. So I figure that's all right. I'll pull out a few and get a good stack going. He'll probably cut me a deal if I buy a bunch of stuff. So after a while, I realized his prices are just not kind of what I'm looking for. So I decided, maybe I better cut this short. So I did get a few books here. I did get, a couple of awesome books, honestly. But let's just start with, I got a couple of filler books here for my ASM run. We got Amazing Spider-Man 133. Nothing special about this, just a filler issue. It's complete, but it's not the best of shape. It's probably VG fine range. It's a Ramita cover from 1974. He had this at $19. So I thought that was a little high. But I needed it for the run, and I had spent so much time in there. I was adamant that I was getting some books out of there. So this is one I needed. So happy to grab that. Also got 140, which I needed. I think I only got a few left in the Bronze Age here to pick up. This one's better shape, probably fine range, and this one was $11. Gil Kane from 1975. So I had a bunch of key issues that I wanted to get, but some of them, they were just overpriced. And there's one book I really, really wanted that's in this stack. I was trying to kind of bundle and put things in and take things out, and he really wasn't budging. It wasn't giving a lot of room, so I kind of ended up with a smaller stack that I wanted. But this is a very cool cover. Happy to get this. Batman 136. This is one of those classic Joker covers. I'm not a huge DC guy, but I do love the classic Joker covers. Probably a good range. I think this worked out to something like $84, something like that. So I think might have had another copy of this. I can't remember. It was in worse shape. Another cool Batman cover. I definitely overpaid on this. After digging for so long, like I said, I really just wanted, I didn't want to leave empty-handed, and I was trying to get the price down overall by buying more, which is usually what I do. I try and pay cash, buy a big stack of books when it's a new place, and try to get some great deals. But we got Batman 145. Awesome cover, awesome Joker, the son of the Joker here. This is probably VG range, and I mean, he had this at like a little over $200 or something, and I was trying to look up comps, but he had like no Wi-Fi in the store. There was like one spot you had to stand at, specifically by the front door, to get Wi-Fi, and I was just, everything back and forth. He didn't have really no give, and I finally was like, screw it, I'll keep this in. I do love the cover, but it worked out to something like $186. Definitely overpaid. I looked this up after the fact, and you can get this a lot cheaper on eBay. So kind of stinks. A little annoyed I paid so much on this one, but it is a fantastic book. But the reason I did is this one book that I absolutely wanted to have. Did not want to leave without this. This caught my attention immediately. One of the few wall books he had. He did have the first Mr. Freeze on the wall, but it was incomplete, so I wasn't taking it home. But he did have this beautiful Star Spangled Comics number 17. This is a Kirby and Simon cover from 1943. Really good shape, really nice mid-grade copy. Didn't see a lot of sold listings. When it comes to the Golden Age, I don't worry about it as much. I'm just kind of going off the condition, the age, what the subject matter is. It's a really cool Kirby Simon cover here. Now, he claims that he got this from Jesse Simon, who's the grandson of Joe Simon. And I believe that's probably true, because we're in the Northeast, and I know he came up to the Old School Comic Show in New Hampshire last year, and I guess this guy was there. So very plausible. So I choose to believe that's true. That certainly added to it for me. It's just a gorgeous book, like I said. Probably mid-grade. This one is about $350. So I don't know exactly if I overpaid or not, but to me, fantastic Golden Age book. Really good. If I'm finding them in the mid-grade like this one is, it could use a clean and a press. But it's gorgeous. So to me, that was well worth it. That was the book I absolutely wanted to come home with. So overall, pretty happy. I knew what I was getting into. I just thought it would go a little bit better. I had visions of coming out of there with a stack of keys, and all that. But there just was not a ton of wiggle room, and I spent a lot of time and a lot of heavy lifting. But end of the day, I walked out of there with this gorgeous Golden Age book, so that's a win in my book. So, all right, moving on. After the lengthy explanation on that one, we've got the local books I picked up. So I had seen this on Craigslist before I hit the road. Was trying to make a connection before I left, but it didn't happen. I had to do a bit of a drive to get there. So it's a short box, like 70 books, a lot of gold keys, a lot of Dells in there, a few other random kind of modern books, but I'll just highlight a few because I bought this for one book specifically. But first off, we got a copy of Detective 478. This was basically, the guy told me, the end of his collection. He had sold everything off. This was the absolute last of it. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of things here. And we've got PT Boat Skipper, Captain Storm, #1. This is Irv Novick cover from 1964. Nothing special here, fairly inexpensive book, VG range. We got Doc Savage, #1 from Gold Key. Very cool James Bond painted cover from 1966. There's a lot of like Mickey Mouse and stuff like that in there. Donald Duck, Walt Disney type of stuff. This was cool. I have never really come across these, but Ronald McDonald, #3 from Charlton. This is a Bill Yates cover. It's from 1971. It's low grade. It's probably in the good, very good range, but I just had a feeling like, you know what? I wonder how much Ronald McDonald books go for. And these things can be pretty pricey, especially the #1 issue. I mean, I didn't get right down full comps here, but I immediately started seeing like some pretty hefty price tags on the Ronald McDonald books. So I thought that was an interesting find there. And a lot of the stuff, honestly, probably like, 20 of the books were in my what I consider my throwaway pile. I keep a pile of books when I'm buying collections and dollar bin stuff that kind of gets set to the side and sold off in bulk on Craigslist. But the book that I wanted, super happy to find this. I'm really shocked the collection was still there, because this book was on display in like the third picture on Craigslist. I guess a lot of people just don't know what it is. I've wanted it. It's one of those weird, quirky, golden age, or rather silver age, innuendo covers. It's The Rifleman, number 10. So happy to find this. Pricey book. This usually goes for, a few $100, I think. This is, Rifleman number 10, photo cover, and I'm forgetting what year this is from, but highly sought after innuendo cover for obvious reasons. Definitely feel slightly guilty for being excited about finding this highly inappropriate cover. But anyways, to find it in the wild like that, super exciting. Instead of buying it off the wall or on eBay, to just see it in a collection on Craigslist. He said he had another buyer lined up, but the guy didn't pull the trigger. I don't know why. The price was, to me, what he was asking for the full collection was, reasonable. I got the whole box for $150, which is worth it just for this book. Cover's detached at the bottom staple, but I just wanted to be sure it was complete when I got there. And it is. So super happy to find that. So awesome pickup, awesome find. Like I said, so much more fun to find it out in the wild like that instead of just buying it on eBay. I shop on eBay too, but there's a certain excitement to finding and discovering these things in shops or in collections, and just having that kind of moment of excitement, that rush of finding these things. So, all right, last stop. On the way home, I decided, you know what? That went quick. I'm going to hit up this antique shop. We have an indoor antique shop in this really cool old mill, there's an antique shop in there and an indoor flea market that's only open on the weekends. So I popped in there. I got a ton of dollar bin books there a year ago. Went back. The dollar bin books were still there, but it was a card guy, so he hadn't really replenished. I think it was just like a one-time thing. But there's a dealer that has toys and a ton of comics. It's been in there for years and years and years. I bought from him in the past. Haven't bought from him in many years, and back then I felt like a lot of his stuff was overpriced, but I figured, I'll take a look. Not bad this time, I think, just because the market had spiked so much that his prices now seem pretty good. So, and he has a sale now. Basically, you buy more than a couple issues, it gives you 25% off, which I thought was great. So I picked up a few, copper, Bronze Age books. We got Web of Spider-Man number 36. First appearance of Tombstone, newsstand cover here. This is probably mid-grade. Worked out to like $6, so not a bad pickup. I usually grab this if I find it cheap. This book I absolutely love, and I think it's an upgrade for me. We got Dazzler number 33, again in a newsstand. Great Bill Sienkiewicz thriller homage here. Probably VF near mint. This one was only $3, so that, to me, that was a great deal. I think it's probably like a $20, $25 book, something like that. Couple of McFarlane covers I can never say no to. We have 344. Unfortunately, no 340 in the boxes, but again, really nice shape. Probably VF near mint. This was something like $9, something like that. It worked out to after the discount. And then a direct edition copy of 345, which is another favorite McFarlane cover from that run. Again, probably in the VF near mint range. So nice books there, but the real exciting part was he's got like 2 or 3 booths, and it's really cluttered. He's got a ton of stuff in there, and like a lot of these flea markets and antique shops, everything's kind of jammed in to fit as much as they can. And he has locked cases, and over time, those have become kind of covered, buried under things. So he had a bunch of toys and video games on top of one of those tabletop locked cases you'd see like someone put cards in, and I just happened to be moving stuff around and realized he had magazines, and he had a Golden Age book on the top of a stack. And I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. I'd never seen it before. So I got him to open the case. It was difficult getting in there just because he had so much stuff. And he made mention that he wasn't sure what was in there because he hadn't opened that case in so long. So I was like, oh, that's a good thing. So I went through the magazines first. He had a bunch of like creepy and eerie magazines. I think a couple of Vampirellas. And I don't know a ton about those titles, but I did see this fantastic Frank Frazetta cover, creepy number 15. I think this is from 67. It's got some early Neil Adams artwork on the interior as well. Just a phenomenal Frazetta cover. I think it was like $30, something like that. So and it's in good shape, probably VF range. So I absolutely was taking that home. I had no idea what it goes for. I think it's probably like a $40, $50 book. So pretty good deal on that. Very happy to have that. Beautiful artwork. I think that was the only Frazetta cover in there. But like I said, what really caught my interest was that Golden Age book on the top. I went through the stack, and there were some like other Dells and stuff in there, but he did have a handful of pre-code horror books in there, surprisingly. So starting off with The Hand of Fate from Ace. I don't know who did this cover, and I can't see the issue number on the cover. I think it's issue number 14. Probably good, very good range. Ace, again, from 1952. And this was $30 after the discount. Like I said, I can't remember the prices on it. On everything. I'm just kind of working what the general price was after he gave me a discount. And then we had Journey into Fear, number 16. I think this one's a fairly pricey book. This again was a little over $30, like $34. Good range. Superior Comics from 1953. It's got some spine tears, some water stains, but still, for those prices, you're paying $30, $40 for some pre-code books that are complete. Absolutely excited to find these. An Atlas book here, Spellbound, number 20. Got a chunk missing there, but to be expected for the age. Again, $30 for this. Russ Heath cover from 1954. That was it for the pre-code. Well, there was one more I'm saving here for the end, but it did find outside of the case, he had just boxes on the floor and covered in toys and covered in other boxes full of like comic bags. And I was like, I'm going through everything. So I went through one box, and it was a hodgepodge. It would be like Archie's. It would be modern DC's. It would be randomly, nothing. There'd be a Spider-Man Silver Age in there, something like that. And just in one of these boxes, he had a copy of X-Men number 10. Really rough shape, but it's complete. It's definitely in the good range. A ton of tears, pieces missing, but X-Men number 10, first Kazar in the Silver Age. I never know if it's Kazar or Kazar. I always say Kazar, but Kirby cover from 1965. Again, less than $40, like $37 it worked out to, something like that. So amazing find. I think even in this condition, it's probably $100 plus book. Even in today's down market, it's still a pricey book. So don't know if that had been sitting there. I mean, God knows what was in these cases before I got to them, because, I went back there and he made reference to some of the other books he used to have. So just unreal that you can still kind of find some of these deals buried places. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And the final book, this was the book that caught my eye, that was on the top of the pile on display. I'm just amazed no one else had him open the case and grab this for the price that was at it. He had $80 on this. So, with the 25% discount, I walked out of there, $60. So I wasn't even going to offer him less than the deals were so great on these that was just amazing to me. But Space Action, number 1. Absolutely amazing sci-fi cover. This immediately caught my attention. I thought that is a beautiful book. I just wanted to be sure it was complete. It is, again, good range. This is, I believe, if I found the right info, a Luke Cameron cover from 1952. I could not find a ton of these on eBay. Really tough to find comps. I think the closest I found was a 0.5 restored that my comic shop had for like $125. So finding sold listings, I'm guessing it's probably at least a couple $100 books, something like that. But this is the one of all of them that will definitely stay in my PC. So super happy to have found these. I definitely went back the following weekend. He had another case that I thought I saw some Golden Age in, but he forgot his key to the case. So that will come up in a subsequent video. I did score some more books, and he's got some more Golden Age at home that he's going to bring in one day. We just got to connect. So unreal find. Just great hauls overall. A great few days. Super happy to have added these books. This just goes to show you, you're patient, you do some digging. These books are still hiding out there. They may be few and far between, but when they happen, man, is it fun. So hope you enjoyed the haul, guys. Again, please leave me a like, hit subscribe, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Talk to you soon.